As the 2019 general election draw near, President of the Senate, Bukola Saraki, has called on President Muhammadu Buhari to conduct an election that is credible, peaceful, free, and fair. The President of the Senate also asked the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to do everything possible towards addressing the issue of vote buying, while urging security agencies and all election stakeholders to ensure that 2019 elections are free, fair, credible, and transparent. Saraki made this submission at the one-day public hearing on vote buying and improving the electoral process in Nigeria, organized by the Joint Committee on Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. Declaring open the public hearing, Saraki said vote buying and election rigging remain one of the contemporary challenges that is facing Nigeria electoral process, which he said need to be dealt with urgently.
Vote buying, by whatever means, remains one of the contemporary challenges that mar the electoral process. We must deal with this ill such in a manner that it does not detract from the credibility and legitimacy of the 2019 election. We cannot, under any circumstance, neutralize elections because that defeats the purpose of free, fair, and credible polls. In an election, access to the polling unit for the purpose of casting one vote is the bare minimum. Once a voter is denied the opportunity to vote through bullying, intimidation, and other forms of harassment, then vote rigging and electoral malpractice have free rein. The security agencies work for INEC as electoral bodies the one charged by the Constitution and our laws to conduct elections. INEC must therefore set the rules for the engagement of security agencies during election, which they are expected to follow. The Commission should seek further the cooperation of the respective security agencies to ensure strict compliance. It is that way that Nigerians can trust the process and to be clear to all that right steps have been taken regards the involvement of security agencies.
Senator Saraki noted that with the regional leadership role occupied by Nigeria in ECOWAS, it is clear that the country cannot afford to conduct an election that will not be seen as credible, peaceful, fair, and free.
The period we're in now puts Nigeria in a delicate situation where Africa and the entire world are looking forward to what happens in our coming elections. This is understandable when you consider that our president is the current chairman of the ECOWAS. Moreover, the chairman of INEC is also the current head of the electoral commissions in West Africa. With these regional leadership roles, it is clear that we cannot afford to conduct an election that will not be seen as credible, peaceful, free and fair.
In his remark, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Yakubu Dogara, said the election to be qualified under a democratic government, it must be free, fair, credible, calling on all Nigerians to rise and condemn all practices of vote buying as the worst form of corruption and should be treated as such.
It has been said that for elections to qualify as democratic, they must be competitive, periodic, inclusive, and definitive. Free, fair, credible, and transparent elections, therefore, is the very basis for translating the consent of the governed into governmental authority. Undue influence of voters have always existed in different forms all over the world. However, the recent phenomenon of direct pricing and buying of votes, as if in an open market square, is very disturbing. It is one of the highest forms of corruption.
Chairman and co-chairman of the Committee on INEC had earlier noted that the vote buying is a nationwide negative syndrome that needs to be tackled. He lamented that currently, in winning the position in Nigeria, one must be involved in vote buying.
It is sad to note that currently, it appears that winning election in Nigeria now is anchored on money. Huge sums of money and other materials are now needed to buy votes from vote sellers in an organized form. It has become the ritual, especially in the rural areas, suburbs, and other places that are difficult for government officials and agencies to monitor. Some politicians give cash, some give materials. However, This phenomenon is not limited to any part of the country. It is a nationwide negative syndrome that needs to be tackled squarely.
And the action that will surely have severe consequences on the electoral process. However, the responsibility of addressing the menace of vote buying and improving electoral process is not only the duty of the legislature, but the executive, the judiciary, INEC, police, the army, the political parties, and indeed all relevant stakeholders. So therefore, we must lay a solid foundation for a true democracy.
In his speech, Chairman of INEC, Mahmoud Yakub, who thanked the both houses for organizing the public hearing on vote buying, said vote buying must be tackled and should never be allowed to define the country's democracy. He further added that impunity in the system, poverty, and ignorance in the society are some of the challenges of vote buying. According to him, INEC is not a vote buyer or vote seller, saying that vote buying in terms of the use of cash on the election day has become an issue on the election day.
But there is something else we are going to do in 2019. And Your Excellency, the Senate President, I want to seize this opportunity to demonstrate this improvement as we approach the 2019 general election. I have here in my hand the sample ballot paper for the presidential election in 2019. It's a sample and a specimen. The security features are not here. The color will change. In any case, we'll also produce this for voter education and publicity. But this is the sample of the ballot paper to be used for the 2019 general election. You know, we don't use envelopes. And so we have a problem, as I said earlier, that as the voter travels between the voting cubicle and the ballot box, he or she exposes the marked ballot paper, sometimes with the intention of showing this to agents of the vote buyers. But in 2019, the ballot papers will be given rolled up to the voters. How is the ballot paper going to be rolled up? We are going to start from the top, and it's going to be rolled up like this. So once a voter is accredited, he is given the ballot paper rolled up. We are going to introduce quick dry ink pad so that will eliminate the risk of smashing and spoiling the ballot paper. And because you roll it from the top, if you roll it this way, suppose you mark the first box and you roll it this way, there is no way the ink is going to touch the box or logo of any political party. It will only touch the back of the ballot paper. And once it is done like this, and the voter votes in the voting cubicles, he is supposed to flatten the ballot paper like this. It's flattened. And by the time the voter emerges from the voting cubicle, he will emerge with something like this that nobody will know which party he shall vote. Before then, the ballot paper is dropped into the ballot box. We'll train our presiding officers on that. We'll do tremendous voter education on that, and that is what we'll do in the 2019 general elections.
He also listed some of steps taken so far to curb vote buying, which he said include ensuring that the ballot boxes are close to the voting cubicle, pager buying on mobile phones at polling units, and training of staff, and ensure that rules are carefully followed.
We talk too much as a nation. We should stop talking and do more for our country. While I say so, and I want to say that when I received the invitation for this public hearing, I said to myself that what we perhaps need is a confessional forum rather than a public hearing, at which those who buy the votes will tell us how they do it, so that we can take further steps to consolidating our democracy and addressing the menace. INEC is not a vote buyer. INEC is not a vote seller.
The chairman of Interparty Advisory Council, IPAC, Peter Ahmed, said the use of incident form to bypass the lawful process of accreditation and voting is not good for the country.
Also not take our election to the dustbin of election that is not going forward, because we must be a shining light for the African nation. We must be a shining light for the West social community. So for us, we have decided that incident 4 should not even be a part of our election process. It's going to set us back. The decision I read here before you is a decision taken at the General Assembly of the Council of Inter-Party Advisory Council, that we will work with the Commission to make sure that processes, every meeting that is held, these processes are clearly defined, and our engagement status are clearly defined. And as a principal stakeholder in the electionary process in Nigeria, the political party, we must be seen to be involved in how these elections are designed, how these elections are representing the wishes and aspirations of our people.
Also, Eda Yemi Akinyomi, Deputy National Chairman, PDP, who said the vote buying stemmed from claim that poverty is caused by poor governance.
The buyers. That is the trend now. It's even the sellers, the voters that are even chasing the sellers. It's even the voters that are now chasing the buyers. Because when the Nigerians do not get 3,000 for a meal in a day, and he sees a person giving out 10,000 naira.
Okay, your time is up.
And sees a person giving out 10,000 naira free of charge.
Your time is up.
Without, he will pursue the person. He will change the person. So if you want to solve the problem of vote buying, you must be prepared. The government will be told to provide food for Nigerians, to provide basic essentials.
Other stakeholders made suggestions on how to curb vote buying and what they term as unlawful interference by security agency in the voting process. From National Assembly Abuja, Moyo Bamdele reporting.
The Christian Association of Nigeria has advised Nigerians against voting for any desperate presidential candidate in 2019. The camp president, Reverend Samsi Ayokule, made this known in Abuja shortly after the meeting with 14 presidential candidates, including President Muhammadu Buhari, who was represented by Minister of Transportation Rotimi Amechi, and People's Democratic Party presidential standard bearer Atiku Abubakar, represented by his deputy Peter Obi. The presidential candidate of the Allied Congress Party of Nigeria, Obi Ezekwesili, was also at the forum. Ayokule warned that there might be crisis during the 2019 election if the police, army, and other security agencies did not conduct themselves properly. The Clevery and Khan was concerned by the crisis that threatened party primaries across the country, stressing that politicians without alternative means of livelihood should not contest election. He added the desperation we saw at the inter-party election is giving us concern. If they can be desperate and end up fighting, what will they do when they contest against the opposition?
The Nigerian Senate has approved promissory notes and bond issuance of 102.2 billion naira to Delta and Taraba State as refund for projects executed on behalf of the federal government. With the approval of the Senate, Delta State got 67.9 billion naira, while 34.3 billion naira was approved for Taraba State, even as it also approved for the 3.5 billion naira as payment for contractors' liabilities. The approval was sequel to the adoption of the interim report of the ad hoc committee set up to consider the promissory note program and bond issuer to settle inherited local debts and contractual obligations on the refund to state government for projects executed on behalf of the federal government. A promissory note is a debt instrument which one party promises in writing to pay a determined sum of money to others, either at a fees or at a determinable future time, on that specific time. President Muhammadu Buhari and in March written to the National Assembly seeking its approval for the issuance of promissory note to offset inherited local debt. The Senate eventually resolved to set up an ad hoc committee to look into the program and advise the Senate appropriately. Presenting the report, the chairman of the committee, Senator Francis Amekene, noted that the Export Expansion Grant Scheme, an incentive of the federal government aimed at supporting active exporters in expanding their businesses, also help in diversification of the Nigerian economy. Ali Mekena said most of the federal government highway were in the state of disrepair before the state intervention, adding an inspection were carried out by the Federal Ministry of Power, Work and Housing on all the roads completed by the state to ascertain the quality of work done.
The Senate at its sitting of Wednesday night, May 2018, considered the request of Mr. President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria on the establishment of the promissory note program and a bond issuance to settle local debts and contractual obligations, and thereafter constituted an ad hoc committee for further legislative action. Members of the committees are on page 1. Background on page 2. Findings on page 4. After exhaustive deliberation of the submissions and presentation by the state beneficiaries and EEC scheme and contractors, an ad hoc committee made the following findings. A. Most of the federal highways were at stake of disrepair before the state intervention. Inspections were carried out by the Federal Ministry of Power, Works and Housing on all roads completed by the states and ascertained the quality of work done. C. Export Expansion Grant Scheme is an incentive policy program of the federal government of Nigeria with the aim of supporting active exporters in expanding their businesses. EEG in the diversification of the Nigerian economy as it is designed to complement the grant, the giant stride of non-oil exporters.
In their contribution, other lawmakers said the report brings an end to the long period of wait and stagnation the companies have faced, especially in terms of meeting their daily obligation, especially to their workers.
And clarifications has to be made in the sense that these figures were prepared by the Federal Ministry of Finance and sent to us. And all we did was to invite the companies to verify and ascertain these claims. Now, we need to understand that this has been outstanding for a very long time. Contractors, manufacturers, importers and exporters have been held down as a result of the inability of the government to prepare and settle this promissory note. This report brings an end to a long period of wait and the stagnation these companies have faced, and the very fact that thousands and hundreds of thousands of Nigerians were employed by these companies, and many of them have been laid off as a result of non-payment. So this Senate and this report will do good to the Nigerian industry and to also the economy of the country. So I urge on my colleagues to look at the details and also see the positive implication of this payment in terms of the company's ability to perform and also to retain thousands of workers that have been under their employment.
That Senate do approve a promissory note program and bond issuance in the sum of 102,297,724,098 naira and 24 kobo as refund to the states for projects executed on behalf of the federal government as follows: Delta State 67,982,398,701,028 kobo, and Taraba State 34,315,325,398 396 naira 96 kobo. Those in support of this recommendation say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Recommendation 2. The Senate do approve a promissory note program and a bond issuance in the sum of 43,586,007,252 naira 69 kobo as payment to contractors' liabilities as detailed below. Cetraco Nigeria Limited 37,342,400,000. Buiz Nigeria Limited 4,636,815,486 naira 2 kobo. Simedia S&I International Company Limited 346,191,766 naira 49 kobo. Hamdallah Homes and Agency Limited 210,600,000 and Ledge Merge Nigeria Limited 916 million. Those in support of this recommendation 2 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Recommendation 3, that the Senate do approve a promissory note program and a bond issuance in the sum of 193,846,216 naira 24 kobo to clear the outstanding claims of the verified 269 companies as beneficiaries of the Export Expansion Grant EEG scheme as detailed below.